So it's the end of the second day of the Conference of States Parties of the Arms Trade Treaty, and we as civil society have still not had the opportunity to give our opening statements. We were supposed to do it yesterday, it was postponed. We were supposed to do it this morning, it was postponed, and now not even this afternoon. We're being told that we can speak at the end of Wednesday, which is a little late in the day for an opening statement. So I'm going to give my opening statement now, so you can all hear what we would like to say to the conference as it actually is in its early stages. Mr. President, since the ATT entered into force 3 years ago, over 1 million people have died from armed violence and many millions more have suffered injury, displacement, torture and abuse. Control Arms is an international coalition, and our partners around the world see these devastating consequences of the poorly regulated arms trade every day. In Yemen, where a child dies every 10 minutes, time is running out. Direct deaths from conventional arms are continuing to rise. Indirect deaths and casualties are, as the ICRC noted yesterday, even higher, much higher. All of this is caused by the war, and all of this could have been avoided. Yemen is one tragic example of where arms supplied by states parties and signatories are directly fueling human suffering. We heard the Finnish foreign minister yesterday say this conference has to look at arms supplies to Yemen. We agree. And there are many other examples around the world. From South Sudan to Honduras to the Philippines to Papua New Guinea, arms fuel torture, human rights abuses, conflict and displacement. States parties here this week have the power to focus discussions and take decisions that can transform the arms trade. The world cannot afford for you to be idle observers. You have both the responsibility and the power to ensure that you do not supply arms that risk being used to commit or facilitate violations of international human rights and humanitarian law. We call on all states present to focus discussions on the substance of the treaty, with particular emphasis on how Articles 6 and 7 are being applied. All states parties should be rigorously assessing arms transfers against these treaty criteria and provide scrutiny to possible treaty violations by others. Mr. President, we call on all states to be transparent. Transparency is an antidote to corruption, a tool to tackling diversion and exposing treaty violations, and ultimately to saving lives. It is disturbing that a substantial minority of states parties are not reporting, and a few states parties have not made all their reports public. As we all know, there can be no sustainable development without peace, and no peace without sustainable development. We welcome the session at this CSP on the link between the Sustainable Development Goals and the ATT. These links are very clear and go way beyond the immediate link with Goal 16 to the role of arms control in reducing poverty, inequality, ensuring gender equality, and reducing corruption. There can also be no universalisation without implementation. Control Arms encourages all states to join the ATT without delay, but this must be done concurrent with ensuring effective implementation. Ratification or accession without implementation is just another law on the books. Worse, it can provide cover for irresponsibility and illegality. States in this room have a tremendous opportunity this week to make a difference. You can choose to focus on substance. You can choose to act to stop the arms transfers that are fueling the daily suffering of millions of men, women and children around the world every day. To those calling for patience, we ask how they will explain to the grieving mother in Yemen, the widow in Iraq, the sister in Jamaica, the orphan in DRC, that they need to be patient. How much longer will victims and survivors have to wait before the world acts to bring the arms trade under control? What unites us at this meeting is our shared aim to reduce human suffering. We call on you this week to make that a reality. Thank you.